Money management can often feel overwhelming, especially when you're juggling bills, savings, and the occasional treat. But what if there was a simple, effective method to make financial planning easier and help you build a secure future? Enter the 50-30-20 rule, a straightforward budgeting strategy that divides your income into 3 clear categories: needs, wants, and savings. It's a practical approach to managing your money without feeling deprived or stressed. If you've struggled to make sense of your finances or want a more organized way to handle your budget, stick around as I guide you through the 50-30-20 roadmap to financial security. At number 5, the first step in this plan is all about prioritizing needs. This is where the 50 part of the rule comes into play. The idea is to allocate 50% of your income toward essential expenses. These are the non-negotiable bills that you have to pay no matter what. Think of rent or mortgage payments, utilities, groceries, transportation costs, health insurance, and any minimum debt repayments. These are the basics that keep your life running smoothly. I used to struggle with my finances because I would often underestimate how much I was spending on essentials. By setting a clear limit of 50% of my income for these expenses, I became much more conscious of my spending habits. I started tracking every essential purchase, making sure it fit within this half of my budget. If I found myself spending more than 50%, I knew I had to make some adjustments. For example, I considered moving to a more affordable apartment or finding ways to save on utility bills. It took some effort, but once I got used to it, it became a habit that helped me stay on track. By keeping your essential expenses at or below 50% of your income, you can ensure that you're living within your means and not stretching your finances too thin. Coming in at number 4, the next 30% of your budget goes to wants. These are the things you desire but don't necessarily need to survive. Dining out, entertainment, vacations, subscriptions, and that new gadget you've had your eye on. These all fall under this category. It's easy to go overboard with wants, which is why having a clear 30% limit helps maintain balance. I used to spend impulsively, and my budget was often blown by the end of the month. When I learned to limit my wants to 30%, it was a game changer. It didn't mean I had to cut out all the fun. Instead, I had to be more mindful about my choices. I started to ask myself if a purchase truly added value to my life. Did I need to go out for coffee every day? Or could I make it at home and save for a weekend treat instead? By having a set percentage, I could still enjoy things I liked without feeling guilty or ending up short for more important expenses. This approach not only helped me save money, but also made me appreciate the things I chose to spend on more. I knew I was rewarding myself within a reasonable limit, and that felt empowering. At number 3, let's talk about the final 20% of the rule, which is dedicated to savings and debt repayment. This is arguably the most crucial part of the 50-30-20 rule because it focuses on building your future financial security. Whether you're saving for emergencies, planning for retirement, or paying off debt faster, this 20% is all about ensuring long-term stability. When I first started budgeting, I realized I wasn't putting enough aside for savings. I would often tell myself I'd save whatever was left at the end of the month, but there was rarely anything left. By committing to the 50-30-20 rule, I began treating savings as a fixed expense, just like rent or utilities. Every month, 20% of my income would automatically go into my savings account. This included contributions to an emergency fund, investments, and extra payments on debt. If you're carrying high-interest debt, it's wise to use a portion of this 20% to pay it off faster. The sooner you're free from debt, the more you can allocate to savings and investment, which will only grow your financial security over time. The beauty of this approach is that it makes saving consistent and automatic. You don't have to think about it, it's just part of your routine. Knowing that 20% of my income was always being saved gave me peace of mind and made me feel more secure about the future. I didn't have to scramble for funds in case of an emergency, and I could plan for bigger goals like buying a home or traveling without stressing over where the money would come from. Coming in at number 2, once you've mastered the basics of the 50-30-20 rule, it's time to refine and adjust based on your personal financial goals. The rule is a great starting point, but it doesn't have to be rigid. Your financial situation might change, and your budget should reflect that. For instance, if you're saving up for a big purchase like a car, you might want to adjust the percentages temporarily to save more. Or if you've paid off a significant debt, you could redirect that portion of your 20% into more savings or investments. I've found that flexibility is key when it comes to budgeting. There were months when unexpected expenses would come up, and I had to adjust how much I spent on wants. Instead of feeling like I had failed, I learned to be flexible. The point of the 50-30-20 rule is to create a guideline, not a strict law that you can never deviate from. Being able to make adjustments without losing sight of my financial goals helped me stay consistent. If I needed to spend a little more on essentials one month, I would scale back on wants. Likewise, if I had a particularly good month income-wise, I'd increase my savings contributions. The key is to keep the overall balance and ensure that your money is still working for you. Finally, at number 1, the most important step in this roadmap is consistency and review. It's one thing to start budgeting, but it's another to stick with it over the long term. Consistency is where you truly see the benefits of the 50-30-20 rule. Reviewing your budget regularly allows you to stay on top of your finances and make informed decisions. I made it a habit to review my budget at the end of every month. I would sit down, go over my expenses, and see where my money went. This helped me identify patterns and areas where I could improve. For example, I realized I was spending more on eating out than I had allocated, so I adjusted my habits to cook more at home. Regular reviews also kept me motivated. I could see my savings growing and my debt shrinking, which made all the effort feel worth it. It's easy to start strong with a budget, but lose steam after a few months. The key is to treat your budget like a financial roadmap that guides you to your goals. Regularly checking in and making necessary tweaks will keep you on course and ensure you're progressing toward financial security. If you can consistently follow the 50-30-20 rule, you'll build a solid financial foundation that can support you for years to come. The 50-30-20 rule is more than just a budgeting technique. It's a roadmap to financial security that helps you prioritize what's most important in your financial life. By allocating 50% of your income to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt repayment, you create a balanced approach that allows you to enjoy your money while still planning for the future. It's a system that's simple to understand, easy to implement, and flexible enough to adapt to your changing needs. If you're new to budgeting or have struggled with managing your finances in the past, I highly recommend giving the 50-30-20 rule a try. Start by tracking your expenses for a month to see where your money is going, then categorize them into needs, wants, and savings. You might be surprised by how much clarity this brings. And remember, it's okay to make adjustments as you go. The most important thing is to stay consistent and keep working toward your goals. By following this roadmap, I was able to gain control over my finances, reduce debt, and build a more secure future for myself. It wasn't always easy, but the results were worth it. Now I have peace of mind knowing that I'm not just living paycheck to paycheck. I have a plan, and that makes all the difference. So, if you're ready to take charge of your financial future, start implementing the 50-30-20 rule today. Track your spending, make a budget, and see how this simple approach can transform your finances. And don't forget to subscribe for more tips on budgeting, saving, and building financial security. Let's take this journey together and make smart money moves that lead to a brighter, more secure future.